If you've ever struggled with feeling like your songs don't sound as good as your favourite bands, a lot of this can come down to the extra details that go into the writing and production phase. Lots of songs might sound simple on the surface, but once you actually break down everything that goes into a professional record, there's a lot you may not know was even in there to begin with. Guitar arrangements are a big factor in this. From what I've seen, there doesn't seem to be much information out there on all the different ways you can arrange guitars in genres like pop punk and emo, but it's a huge factor in getting the sound you want. If you're looking to make the heaviest intro possible, you need to arrange your guitars in a way to reflect this. That intro to Greywind's song, Here's Your Death Wish, is being made up of a 6-part guitar arrangement. You're probably used to the concept of single tracking and double tracking, and if you're not, that just means recording 2 takes of the same part. But if you want to take this idea one step further to achieve a similar sound, there's 2 major factors you should consider when layering multiple guitar pairs. The first is tone and texture. If you're using multiple pairs of guitar tracks, you really want to contrast the sound of these pairs so that once summed together, they create a massive wall of sound. If you use the exact same tone for every layer, it will likely blend too much and sound mushy and undefined. So taking that intro as an example, the first pair is using more of a crunchy sounding amp that adds a lot of clarity to the chords being played. Then the second pair are these fuzz tracks, which sound more like your typical high gain amp sound. And the third and final pair is this down pitch tone that's adding a lower octave to the guitar parts, which makes them sound way heavier in context. And altogether they sound like this. So I think that's a great example to show how you need to consider all the different textures that can make up what sounds like one single sound. The crunchy guitars are giving you that clarity so that your ears can pick up on the harmonic content of the chords. The fuzz guitars are adding aggression to the sound and in turn help to thicken up the sound of the crunchy guitars, while the octave down guitars are adding in that final layer of heaviness that you wouldn't get out of just keeping these quad tracked. The second factor to look at is what's actually being played in these tracks. So as I briefly mentioned, the crunchy tone guitars are playing slightly different chord extensions to what the fuzz and octave down guitars are both playing, which are just regular power chords. So again, it comes back to that idea of finding ways to add in additional contrast when playing simple things. You could play the exact same position for all 6 layers, but it wouldn't give you this more complex sounding arrangement if you did. The idea is repeated during the chorus section too, where you can hear the crunchy guitars playing higher chord voicings. And these are just bar chords of those same power chords being played by the fuzz and octave down guitars. Guitar solos and the thought process behind composing these are also something that doesn't often get talked about much in this kind of music. So watch this video next for some pro tips on how to compose your own emo guitar solo with the band Greywind.